we're being really aggressive. We have a couple of different cameras going at the same time, so I will be extra ADHD today, looking at all of them. But we're live on Instagram, and we're live on Facebook, and we're live in our Facebook group. What's the name of the Newborn Photography group?
Newborn Photography Success.
Newborn Photography Success. We're live in that group right now too. And we have some awesome giveaways going on every single platform today during the live. So, am I in the shot? No, you are. We are going to give away to our most engaged viewer on each platform. We're going to be giving away a Swaddle Pro. You wouldn't even believe that. We were taking photos with it before, and now I can't find it. But we're giving away a Swaddle Pro, which is amazing. It's totally changed the way that I photograph newborn sessions. And I actually even offer newborn mini sessions now at my studio because I'm able to make the session so much more streamlined. So we're giving away a free Swaddle Pro, amazing, and a digital backdrop. So today I'm going to be showing you my favorite swaddling techniques with the Swaddle Pro, and then how I photograph babies for digital backdrops. And we're going to be doing two different sets, a light set and a dark set. And then next week, after the holidays, I will record a little editing video, and I'll share that with you too, how I actually edit the images that we take today into the digital backdrops. These digital backgrounds and shooting in this way has really opened up the variety that I can offer to clients. And I think a lot of people who are now either having newborn photo sessions done in their home because of COVID, or maybe they're trying to DIY it, or you have to travel to them. I actually closed my old studio almost 2.5 years ago. And when I transitioned to just working in clients' homes for newborn sessions at that time, I felt a little lost without the whole studio and all the gear and the big beanbag and all that. But I was able to streamline my process, and then coming back into a studio space again, I actually took a lot of that stuff that I learned from being on location and brought it into my workflow here. So we have an adorable little baby boy today who's going to model for us. How many days is he today? 3. Oh my gosh, 3 days old. He's the 4th baby, so that's why mom is, she's like, I can totally come in on day 3. Oh, yay. I'm going to hand sanitize again. Before I take him, and we'll get ready to swaddling. My hands are cold. I'll actually take the sweatshirt. Oh, so cute. Yeah, you guys, I took him in mom's sweatshirt because my hands are still cold. I never like to make them squeal. He's so sweet. Just gonna warm my hands up a little before I transition him. All right, and we gotta find our Swaddle Pro. What did I do with it after we took a picture with that?
Oh, it's on the desk.
So if you guys want to say hello in the comments, we have some friends here helping to monitor the comments. So you can say hi, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. I like questions. And don't forget that our most engaged viewer on each platform, meaning you comment the most and ask the most questions, and give the most hearts, you are going to win a Swaddle Pro and a digital backdrop from me. So this is the Swaddle Pro right here. It's like baby Spanx, newborn swaddle Spanx. So I like to swaddle right in my lap, just like this. And this is mom's sweatshirt. If I don't have a blanket or something from the parents, I would put just a piece of fabric down, or
Heidi, turn that way a little bit more.
a cloth. So like this.
Yeah.
You guys see better? Okay. Ready? Oh, I always keep both hands. So I'm going to lay him down. There's sort of like a little terry cloth textured part of the swaddle. So we're going to lay him right there with the top line of the swaddle meeting up just below his shoulders. So I like doing this on my legs because then I can give them like a little bit of a bounce. You're cold now, but you're going to be so warm once you're in your swaddle. You can decide at this point if you want the hands in or out. I find it very easy to switch this around. So I often start with them in, but then it's so easy to just kind of tuck them out if you want to. So we're going to start fully swaddled, and then I'm going to gradually, in the sets, once he's nice and warm and cozy for a little while, I'll start to pull his feet out and his hands out.
It's backwards.
It is. Needs to be out like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to bring this piece all the way across. And there's Velcro on the side of it. So we're going to bring it all the way around over the back, and then I can kind of slide this down a little bit more. But we want him to be nice and tight.
Somebody is asking, once you're done, can you show it up close? So once you have them all sewed up.
So we brought the first flap over, then we brought the Velcro side all the way around the back tight, and now we start to work his legs in. So we're going to bring this down this way. Now you can decide at this point if you want his feet in or out, and his legs in or out. Probably put them a little bit tighter now up top. Let's get your legs in there. So we're going to slide it down. Right over his legs, and Velcro it in the back there. So you can see how smooth this is right here. This helps so much when we go to put our over swaddles. This I could also tighten quite a bit. Do a little tighter wrap there, which I probably will, because you get your hand out. So if you want to tighten it, it's pretty easy to just unvelcro the back and slide it over a little bit tighter, which we're going to do with you, because you're a peanut. How much did he weigh when he was born?
7.
7. And that was just a couple days ago, right? Tighten that up a little bit. I'm going to do a hand out swaddle. What do you think? And now I do my decorative swaddles over that. So we're going to keep his feet in for this. I like to do like pretty fully swaddled. He is going to have his little hand out in this one. We're going to do a full swaddle, and then we're going to start to pull out his feet and his legs once he falls back asleep.
Some more people are getting on, and they're wondering where this is from. So you explained
Yes.
in the beginning, so if you want to explain again?
Yes, so this is the Swaddle Pro. It is a little miracle genie worker on the babies. It's like Spanx. And you can get, I actually share the link. I'll be sharing the link with this video on all the different platforms. And if you stick with us today and you share your comments and your questions with us, you could also win one of these. We will pick a winner later today, right? From the commenters.
And I have somebody wondering how many swaddled looks you do during a regular session.
I would do 2 to 3. And I start fully swaddled and then start unswaddling from there. And then usually go to the beanbag from there. I don't typically start on the beanbag unless the baby's like super sleepy. I like to use the swaddle to get them nice and sleepy and get a lot out of them there. Okay, so we're gonna start with Cream today. He is so cute. See how chill he is? Like once they're wrapped up, they chill right out. So we're gonna go into our decorative swaddle. Now these, all of these props that I'm using today are part of, the Swaddle Pro now has a whole line of luxury props. And some of these are new releases that you'll be seeing. I believe there's some sales going on in that group that I mentioned, the newborn group. What's it called again?
Newborn Photography Success.
Newborn Photography Success Group. I know they got some giveaways going on in there and some sales going on in there. I'm obsessed with this curly layer. So now I'm going to do the pretty swaddle on top. I think I can double this. It's actually pretty thick. So let's try that to start. So now
Someone is asking, is there a thicker part that runs the length of the top by his neck?
yes, there is a thicker band, and that actually helps to keep it from sliding. It holds it in pretty good. He knows his fingers. Do you have a binky for him? Does he take one? Hi. So he is going for his fingers a little bit. So at this point, I could rewrap him to get his arms down if I wanted to. I'm going to see if the binky works. If the binky doesn't work, then I'll do another quick wrap where his hands are all the way down. I let them slip out in the beginning, and then you really have to start over if you. Hang on. Let's see. The binky might be enough. All right, so I'm going to keep working on this. I like their hands out if I can get them out, as long as they're not chewing on them. Let's go back this way. It's really easy when they're in the Swaddle Pro. It allows you to take your time with wrapping them because they're not, without it, it's like you have to hold everything in. You got to hold their feet and their arms. You're trying to hold it in and wrap them really tight at the same time. When you have the Swaddle Pro, it's doing all that work for you, so you can really take your time and get like a nice clean wrap. I am not the world's most perfect wrapper by any means. I tend to get impatient with it, like if the baby's moving around a lot, I'm like, just get them wrapped up, And this allows me to have a lot more patience with how I take my time in getting nice, clean, tight lines. So I stretch this nice and tight. I'm going to put it right under his hands and right around the back, so he's like a little burrito.
How long do you like your decorative wraps typically to be?
The longer the better for me. This is an awesome length, actually. This is a really long
Yeah, that's our extra
60,
long length. It's it's like 90 plus.
Yeah, it's awesome. But I do like very long wraps. I'm loving this one.
We've got another question. How many go-to swaddle wrap styles do you use? They find themselves using the same 1 to 2.
Yeah, I kind of do too, to be honest with you. I am not a fancy, schmancy, fancy kind of. And this is a boy too. I do like some of the bows and all that. I think those are cute. But like I said, the reason why I love the Swaddle Pro so much is because I am not the world's best wrapper. I like that it gives me really good results when that is not my primary skill set. So I'm just going back and forth, creating kind of like a V pattern at the top here. Like I go below, up, around, and then back up this way, up and around at an angle. So cute. I think we can get one more. Sometimes I tuck it at this point, but if I can get one more, swoop around.
How much time do you typically spend setting up each of these poses?
So the wrapping is the part that takes the longest, because once they're in the wrap, it's pretty, you kind of pop them into different props and different, I might angle their pose slightly differently. But I have learned to be a little bit more patient with the amount of time that I take in the wrapping so that I have really good results. And I'm not spending time editing or wishing that I had done something differently later. So that's pretty good there. So see how I kind of created this like crisscross right here? I like that look for boys. That's about as fancy as I get right there. Really cute. All right. So we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna lay him into the gray. I can give him off her sweatshirt back. I'm gonna lay him in here just to keep him in a comfy spot. We're gonna keep the binky for a minute in case you need it. Thank you. All right, and I'm gonna start setting up a prop. So I'm today shooting for digital backdrops. Do you want me to sit back down some? I'm shooting for digital backdrops. But I also want these images to be good on their own too, so I kind of like to kill two birds with one stone. So I'm going to photograph kind of this rustic setup on this curly fur. I find if I'm photographing in something that's round, from up above, bird's eye composition, straight up above, in a curly kind of layer or any type of fur, it's pretty easy for me to just cut out this circle and drop it into another backdrop that matches it. That's my favorite easy peasy way to do digital backdrops. So then in the final gallery, not only do I have this, but I have some adorable other backgrounds that like my hand drawn or hand painted backgrounds. And it's so easy in editing. It's just like cut out the circle, plop it in, and soften the edges a little bit. And I'll be showing you guys how to do that. So,
Got another question. Do you
Yes.
find with the longer wraps that their bodies sometimes look too big? Do you ever liquefy the size of them post-editing?
yeah, I do. So the longer wraps are better in my opinion because they actually give a rounder shape. So there's less liquefying that I have to do the longer the wrap is, and the more layers that they have on them. If it is a shorter wrap and it shows more of the curves of their body, then sometimes I'll liquefy out a little bit just to give I like a round type of shape. So, good questions. Okay, so I have my furry layer in here. So what I did a big bean, big posing bean in there for the head. I want the head up at the top, and I want the body to go down into the bucket. So the head should always be the closest thing to the camera for a good angle. So we're gonna got the acrylic. See, this is so forgiving. This is why I love this stuff, because it's just like, if you're using fabric or something, you're worried about where the wrinkles fall and all that, and the fur is like, just throw it in there and you're good. All right. And then, so I'm gonna pose the baby this way so you can see it, and then I'll put it into the right place. Let's put a little hat on him too. Can you guys see me okay still on over here?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll put a little.
So someone wants to know where you got those large posing beans from.
Those were, is it the Newborn Cloud? I'm gonna shout out to, I got them years ago. I think it's Newborn Cloud because it matches my bean bag. Was that a thing, Newborn Cloud? Oh my, I can't even. Look at how cute this hat is. Is that the cutest thing? So I'm just kind of posing him this way so you can see. I'm going to put his body in first. And I do like a curve to them if possible. You always want to keep an eye on, it's not super hot in this room. It's was tough to heat up. So it's not as warm as it probably should be. You always want to keep an eye on their fingers and their hands and make sure that they're not discolored or cutting off circulation in any way. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to try to curve his head. He wants to curve that way.
Somebody said yes, they are the Newborn Cloud. They have them too.
Thank you. Newborn Cloud. Oh my goodness. So he naturally wanted to turn his head the opposite way that I was trying to pose him. I was trying to turn him the other way. So I actually just pulled him out and changed my pose to let him lead how how he was going to be comfortable in the pose. So now I'm actually turning him the opposite way, and he's much more comfortable like that. And I can put his body in first. And if I need more pillows here, I can add them. I do want a little bit of fur beneath him if possible, so I can reach in. And it's just easier to have a little fur surrounding the entire body, like that. And I think to keep his curve, I'm going to get a really tiny posing pillow. This is from a different company. I should probably get better at remembering all this stuff is from. I've had it forever though, you know? When you've been doing it for over a decade, you start to acquire a lot of things. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. I love neutrals. I like keeping it really simple and like, especially for boys, but like having lots of texture and pretty monochromatic. And then I can get fancy with some of the backgrounds in my digital backgrounds. But in the actual session, keeping it really timeless and simple, and then adding on that extra stuff. Because like, I don't want to spend all this time doing all this for one picture, you know, which a digital backdrop essentially is one picture. I want to do all this and get lots of stuff for my gallery and then add it into one digital backdrop. All right, so now I gotta look for the light. So I sometimes shoot from the shadows, sometimes shoot from the light. Usually I like it to enter into the side that the baby is curved away from. So the curve of the baby is opposite of the light. You can kind of see that. That's how I like to start it. And I want the face straight up. And when I'm photographing for a digital backdrop, I need to be directly above, like straight above the baby. Whenever you're photographing directly above the baby, you want to make sure that your camera strap is either around your neck or is around your wrist. But you want to make sure your camera is secure to you somehow so that you cannot drop it when you're right above the baby, because that would hurt. So I'm going to take a test shot here before I remove the binky. And I want to make sure that at all my settings, I shoot natural light, if you haven't noticed. So we have our window right here. I'm going to place him a little bit further over because I just am paying attention to the lines on the floor and where I want them. So I move him to there. I'm getting one picture right above. Another thing sometimes I do is just hold the camera out. Again, just make sure the straps are well around you. And then I just check my viewfinder and adjust the picture as needed. Cute. All right, now I'll take the binky out. I forgot it was in there. It's like a mask. You forget that it's on after a while.
Someone wants to know where the floor is from.
Intuition Backgrounds. The floor is Intuition, and I do not remember the name of what one it is. But I use it all the time. I really love it.
So Giselle also wants to know, do you charge extra for creating a digital backdrop for a client?
I do not. I also don't really take this. I mean, if they show me an image that they like from Instagram, then I will do that for them. But I'm not like, oh, you get X amount of digital backdrops per session. It's really something that I add in later, because once I have these, I can like see which backdrops work well with the theme that they wanted and the colors that they wanted. And it's like a little bonus surprise for them. Now, the way that I do digital backdrops, the editing is super quick, but there are a lot of complicated digital backdrops that take like hours of editing time. So you have to think about if that works within your workflow. So I got all my direct above. Those are the ones that are going to go in the digital background. Now I'm actually going to go in and take lots of different like angles of the baby. And this is also where I would get some macro shots as well.
So somebody is asking, what are your favorite newborn shoot lenses?
And now I'm going to shoot from the shadows. Newborn shoot, I'm using all 35 here, and then I'll also do some macro pictures. So I'm getting a few different angles. I'm actually moving the baby around in the light, because each of these images sound really different.
Do you know where you got the bucket from?
The bucket is a planter that I painted with green chalk paint. All right, we got a lot there. Now I'm going to take off the hat, even though I'm obsessed with the hat. And actually, I have a little teddy bear hat, so we'll do a couple different hats here, and we'll do one with no hat. It's always good to take bands and all that. I always take a few without anything on it because, I don't know, I just wonder in 5 years or 10 years, maybe that big giant gaudy bow that mom brought in is like not gonna be cool anymore. And, you know, get some of just them natural without all the jazz on top.
And how many images are you delivering in a gallery?
I'm a way overshooter, and I'm all inclusive. So a newborn session for me, I say 50, at least 50 images. Not in a model session, but in like a full newborn session with family and everything. And it's usually a lot more than that.
And I know you answered this, but I can't remember. What lens are you using?
35 millimeter.
And we have another question. What camera do you use?
This is a Nikon D5. So he just kind of slid to be not centered in the bucket, which will drive me nuts later. So I'm going to just try to get him back into the center.
And here's a great question when it comes to digital backdrops is, are you shooting at a certain aperture when you're planning for a composite for a digital backdrop?
So I would recommend higher aperture numbers than normal. So I wouldn't shoot wide open. It depends whose digital backdrops you're working with. Some digital backdrops do require a very high f-stop number because that's the way that the backdrop was taken. But I find, like right now, I'm, like 3.2, and so that's not really that high an aperture number. It's not wide open certainly, but and that seems to be fine because I do these circular images with the fur in it that I can pretty much like drop into anything. If anything, I would rather blur the digital backdrop a little bit to match the level of focus of the baby.
And do you let your clients choose the digital backdrops, or do you as the creative artist decide which one's going to be best?
I decide. But sometimes they do request something that they've seen on Instagram, and I'll do it for them. But if they don't, then I just do it. I do find that like I have been in business a long time, so I tend to get customers that come in and they're just like, here's what I like, do whatever you want, you know? They might tell me colors or whatever, but then otherwise they're like, you're the expert, you do it, you know? He keeps moving his head every time I can try this again.
And the machine by your heater, is that your noise machine?
It is. It's on super low right now for you guys. So it's not doing much. I want his face totally up, not like slunk into the swaddle, so that's better.
Do you find that people order a lot when you're showing 50 plus images, or do you think that it overwhelms people?
We don't do in-person sales anymore. So we just do all digitals, and they get them all. So yeah, for in-person sales, perhaps. But my galleries were still pretty big, and they usually just buy them all. All the digitals has always been an option, so. I'm getting some cute angles. I already got my above view for the digital backdrop. I'll get one with this lighting too. It's kind of nice to have different lighting options for digital backdrops. All right, and then we got to do his little teddy bear ears. So adorable. Oh, I have a teddy bear too. It's probably in my dropper now. That's all right. I don't need to put my back to the camera, but we'll go with this. So you guys can see.
Do you do mostly wrapped, or do you include unwrapped, and does it depend on the client?
I do unwrapped in my full sessions only. In my shorter sessions, they are wrapped the whole time. So it would be a 3-hour session if I'm doing unwrapped poses. But you will see I am going to start to pull out like his little feet and his legs out of this too. So we still get those little features. I actually find, I think personally, and you guys can agree or disagree with me, but I think newborn photography is trending towards more clothed and wrapped posing in general. that they make up a bigger bulk of the gallery than when I started, and like everything was on the beanbag when I started, so.
Somebody is saying they also travel to clients for newborn sessions. How many basket props and backdrops do you typically bring with you?
I would do like probably two off the beanbag in a client's home. Full family stuff, the beanbag, I do bring the beanbag. And then like 2 setups like this, just like what we're doing today, and then I use digital backdrops.
And then what platform are you using to deliver your images?
Shoot-proof.
Did you stop in-person sales because of COVID or just a new model with your new space?
New model, new space. We stopped in-person sales when we left our old studio almost like 2.5 years ago, because we didn't have the space to do it anymore. I was working at home, I was traveling to clients' homes, and everybody who was coming to me were like repeat clients who had been with me for a long time, because I wasn't really marketing my services at the time. So we switched, and then it's just been like easy and convenient, and no need to like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So I stuck with it.
So how long are your mini newborn sessions and how long are your full newborn sessions?
A mini newborn session is 30 minutes, fully wrapped the whole time. A full newborn session is 3 hours and includes the beanbag closing.
Now,
and then I do a lifestyle newborn too. A lifestyle newborn's 1 hour wrapped the whole time. I'm just getting different, like, I like shooting from the shadows here too. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do, oh, I love that. I'm gonna start to work, I'm gonna keep this swaddle situation here, start to work out his toes. So I'll show you how we do that, and that way I can get some macros on the cream, and then I will switch over to gray. So I'm gonna go get my macro lens, so I have it, and we'll work on unswaddling him a little bit here. 3. Did I bring it in? Yeah. Oh yeah, you could do close-ups on the baby here if you want. People like to see a baby close-up. It's so cute. Gosh, that little cat. So cute. So cute.
Are family photos included in a mini?
Yes, family photos are included.
and you still give about 50 images even for a mini session?
No, mini's like 20 plus.
Somebody would love to know what that little gray beanbag is behind you
That,
by the stool.
that's a perfect posy, and we'll talk about that too. We'll get into that. All right, I'm going to do a few macro details before I disturb him. So for macro, you got to bring your aperture up and your ISO up usually. So I'm going to try like 5.6 for my.
And what lens are you using for the macro
This
shots?
is 105 millimeter 2.8 Nikkor. So I'll get little details on the side of the face. So cute. All right, now I'm gonna work his toes out. Come back over. I'm gonna get back into my swaddling position so that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. And I want a blanket to just put over my legs because I've been rolling around on the mat. So it's just like a changing pad.
Would you say a macro is a must for newborn photography?
I love it, but if you're using a 35, you can get in pretty close too. So 30, I would say a 35 is definitely a must for me personally. I used to use a 50 actually, but I think the wide angle is much more important and you can get in tight with it. And then macro would be like the next purchase. So we're gonna unwrap the over swaddle. And then we're going to work the toes out. I can turn this way a little bit. Is this better? Better angle?
You're good.
So you guys can see. Get the overlap off. And then we get, so this is so cute. Here, I'm going to hold them up so you can see. There's this little hole, can you guys see it? In the swaddle pro. right here. So these diapers on this whole time, which is very laundry friendly. And then we're gonna just like work his little toes right out of this spot right here. So easy. So he still has his little band-aid on his heel. Let's see what we can do here. Because he has his band-aid on his heel, I'm gonna do this a little differently. So I'm just working his toesies out of the hole in the swaddle fro. And look at, he's still like sound asleep. It's so easy. Okay. Get the little toesies out. Last one. Good. But it holds everything else in tight. And because his heel still has the Band-Aid on it, I'm actually going to just only show like the tips of his toes like that. So it's still really easy to, it actually is helping to hold his heels in. See how tight this fabric is? It's great. Okay. Now, we're going to play with our wrap here.
How easy is it to get the toes out of the hole?
Oh, it's so easy. It's great. And the rest stays nice and tight. I'm actually going to get rid of the tighter half here for a minute. It's harder to get the hat off than it is to get the toes out. There we go.
Got another question. What do you do if you go to a client's home and there is no natural light or the color balance is off due to the ceiling and the wall colors?
So this is something that I talk to them about before the session, is like, is there a good place for us to set up? Usually they at least have like a sliding glass door or whatever, but I tell them like wherever the light is the best is where we're gonna set up. So we talk about that first in the pre-session consultation to make sure that, you know, we have somewhere at least that we can set up. Otherwise, if like they say I have no natural light, then I would recommend that we do it in somebody else's house in a different location. Like, does your mom have good light in her house? Or do you have a friend who has good light in their house that we could use? It is important to manage expectations in that pre-session call because I can remember going to a client's house in Boston. They wanted everything to be like really light and bright, like my studio work. And I walked in and it was like a brick loft in downtown Boston, like no windows, no light. I'm like, we're not going to get light and airy, you know, when it's all brick and wood everywhere. So I think that's important to have that discussion in the planning session so you can manage expectations. We're going to do a little wrappy again here with the toes out this time. So I'm still doing that same kind of crisscross pattern. We're going to tighten it up around the feet here too.
Do you do your pre-session consult in person or over the phone?
Over the phone.
Do you have them fill out a form ahead of time so you can make a game plan of what you're going to do?
I did used to do that. They do, during the checkout process now, they do answer, like, do you have anything special in mind? But the rest I just leave to the call for the most part.
What do you do if the day of is very rainy? This happened to me. Sunny when I started driving, downpour when I got to their home.
It's just hard. You have to just bump your ISO up. That's like, the Nikon D5 handles noise pretty well, and then I do noise reduction in Camera Raw, but sometimes that's just when you're not using studio light, you gotta go into those high ISO numbers. Okay. Go back here.
When do you like clients to book a newborn session? I struggle with people getting to book ahead of time and they call once baby is already like 2 weeks old.
If they call and I can take them, I take them. And if I'm fully booked, then I'm fully booked. So I think people, if you consistently like educate through your marketing. Like the best time to book a session is when you're however far in advance you want them to book. Like when you're in your 3rd trimester, that's when you should call us, or your 2nd trimester, that's when you should call us. And you should say that every time you're posting on social media. If you're marketing your newborn sessions, you could talk about when it's time to book to help educate them on when to book. But if they call when the baby's 2 weeks and I can get them in, I do, you know. I also stick to boundaries really well as far as like this is how many shoots I'm going to take in a week, and I'm not taking any more once I'm fully booked, which I think is important for work-life balance, you know.
We've got another question.
Yeah.
Late login. What is the name of the posing assistant under the wraps?
It is, these are from the newborn cloud, and then these are, I forget. Sorry.
Somebody is asking, did you say you're selling the digital backdrop?
Yeah, so digital backdrops, you can find on HeidiHopeBackdrops.com. And at the end of after today, we are giving away on each platform that we're live, we're going to give away a Swallow Pro. The Swallow Pro is what I'm using under the wraps here to keep baby in nice and snug, and a digital backdrop of your choice. Oh, so perfect. So get one more like this with the toesies out.
How do you handle parents who like to micromanage a shoot?
I think as your confidence grows, you tend not to even like attract that energy, I would say. But honestly, like sometimes people do micromanage, and I'm fine with that. Like whatever. This is what you want. You're paying me. Sure, I'll do it. That's fine with me. I do try to explain. I think people trust my work, first off. But I do try to also explain, like, let's say they want something that is going to not enhance the session or make the session worse, then I will just talk to them about that. Like, well, we don't do that at this point because, like, this is what the outcome is going to be. And then I might ask them, like, is that still something you want to do, you know? But, oh my goodness, he's so cute. I don't run into that very often. I feel like I get maybe 1 or 2 sessions like that a year maybe. So again, I'm straight above, so I want to make sure my strap is either around my wrist or around my neck. Turn his head back to be straight up. So I'm directly above. This is the important point for digital backdrops. If I'm over here, or I'm over here, it's going to be harder to put in a bird's eye digital backdrop. When I shoot straight above and light from the left, it's just easy. I just like cut it out. It's like cutting a circle out and putting it into a new spot. It's so much easier. Then I go over to the side. These are images that would just be in the final gallery that are not going to go into a digital backdrop. Real close-ups. Okay, cute. We're going to switch him over now to Greg. So he's going to stay sleeping in his little bucket for a minute. And I'm going to move the gray into the center here so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, so we did those 2 cats. How are we doing on time? How long have we been going?
It is, let's see, 12:46.
Oh, he's good.
Oh.
You did a smile again. I think I took a loose face with that. Okay. So this here. So the next phase is going to be a darker setup. And I have 2 options for that, depending on the size of the baby. The perfect posy, that's this little beanbag thing. I like using this. I also like, for bigger babies, he's pretty average. I like this ring. This is from Studio Baby Posing Props, and it's filled with rice. So it allows me to like make it, I like it to be more firm where the baby's head is gonna go. And then I go like this to make room for the feet. So I tend to like how this moves around for me. And we have, I'm just gonna put a gray blanket down just so later it's a little bit easier to Photoshop. Same color as my fur. And then this awesome fur curly layer is from the Swaddle Pro in Luxury Props. Did I say that?
Yep.
I'm like the worst because I don't remember anything. I got the worst memory. Okay.
Yeah, so these are our new newborn cloud sets, and they're available right now in our group for our 12 Days of Christmas extravaganza.
And that's, say the name of the group again. So everybody.
Newborn Photography Success. So they're available till the 23rd at a discounted rate, and then they're going to go up on our Etsy shop for a regular $35 per set.
Right. So we're going to get him into gray, and we'll do some without a hat and some with a hat. And then these are going to go into either, I will shoot it just like a furry layer. I'll actually clone stamp a little of this out on the sides for just portraits just like that. Or I will cut out this circle and stick it into my digital backdrop.
And somebody wanted to tell Mama, good job. He's adorable.
He is. He's a doll.
We've got a couple people asking what sound machine you use.
That is just, I don't know. Let's see. It doesn't say.
Just a
I
sound
think it's
machine.
from like Target. Into the gray.
And people are still chiming in a little bit late, so some person is asking again the lenses that you're using.
Okay, so 35 millimeter is what I'm predominantly using, and then I also have a macro, a 105 macro over here. All right, so for this, is this a long wrap?
70 inches, yep.
All right, I might try the legs out for this. What do you think? So, in addition to pulling the feet out, you can also get the legs out. So I'm going to put his feet back in. This is the Swaddle Pro, my little magic trick in my newborn sessions.
Where did you say the Perfect Poser was from again?
Perfect Posy, I think it's just Perfect Posy, it might be perfectposy.com. It was like a subsidiary of, didn't Louisa Dunn come out with them?
Maybe,
I
yeah.
think it might just be perfectposy.com.
Okay.
Okay, we got one leg out. See, they come out the side right there.
I'm getting a little closer so people can see.
Yeah. There's like these two little openings on the side and the bottom so that you can get their legs out without unswaddling the top. Since he's awake anyways, I'm actually going to redo the whole Swaddle Pro for you guys so you can see that from the beginning, okay? Darby, you grab his binky on the counter there too and bring it over. So we're going to undo the back here. Okay. Oh.
Let me know if either of these are in your way.
How was his feeding when you first got here? Did he take a full feeding or a sort of a snack?
75%.
Okay. I want to start the process, but I also don't want to make him mad. I'm going to go into the other side here and give his other little leggy.
What's the oldest you'll actually consider for a newborn session?
I mean, I've done all, especially even after COVID. I mean, I did 1 month old. They're just not as they're not as sleepy. That's all.
Right.
You know, it's not impossible. It's if you plan to be swaddled a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a 1 month old is fine.
Yeah, and the Swaddle Pro we've definitely used all the way up to 2 months old, and I think Tanya Ray Photography even got older than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely plenty of room. It's very stretchy, so there's plenty of room for the baby to grow in there. But it's okay. The older they get, I think the more you need to swaddle them in the session. It's not impossible to do beanbag stuff as they get older, but they're a little less flexible and they're a little less sleepy, and so being wrapped up nice and warm and tight is very helpful in getting a full session. Alright. I'm trying a little egg wrap here. So what I like to do for the egg wraps, I'm trying to just do an egg wrap. Is wrap through the center first, and then kind of go around like this.
How many edited photos do you offer in a full session?
50, 50 plus, usually a lot more than that. I'm tempted to do a gray layer under this because it is a sheet. The wrap has an open weave to it. Do you mind running like over there on the racks? See if you can find a solid gray wrap. I want to put something under this just so we don't see anything here. It will help me to get a better egg shape too.
Like something small. Like you have this,
He totally is. Let's just get that on
or
camera.
like these larger wraps.
This is what he has to say to everybody.
This way,
Yeah.
like, so towards the very end there should be a finger that has a bunch of different colors on it. Those are the wraps. So,
These right here.
yep, because
Okay.
they're gray on there anywhere.
There is like this gray blue.
Yeah, perfect.
So funny.
Totally flicking off, you guys.
He's over it.
Over it. Alright, so we're going to do this solid underneath just because of that open weave so that it matches. I'm a very matchy person. I like everything like monochromatic and matchy.
How many edited photos do you offer for a mini session?
20 plus, probably 25 plus. I just started doing those this year. And we just keep the baby swaddled the whole time. So I get this as neat as possible here. Get these little feet in. I'm trying to hide his Band-Aid, so I'm actually going to like put his feet like that. Yep. Okay. Come around this way.
And somebody else wants to know if you ever used knitted wraps.
Yes, I love knit wraps. I use all the wraps, but I like just having that swaddle underneath.
And how do you handle siblings during a newborn session? Are you doing them first, last, or?
First. Always first. Always first, and then if parents want them to take off, they can. So a lot of times if there's a lot of older siblings, I'll do all the family and sibling, and then we take a little break. A lot of times dad will just take the kids home, they'll bring 2 cars, and then mom will stay with the baby. It just makes it easier. Sometimes they stay the whole session too, but honestly it's usually harder for the parents when they feel like they have to like chase around the toddler in addition to feed the baby or anything else. So it's a more relaxing experience for them. Or sometimes they'll bring like a nanny or a grandma or something like that to help too. Let's see, now this is my actual wrap. I'm going to deal with his hands at the end. We're just going to let his hands hang there. So I'm going under his feet like this. I'm going to tuck it tight. Can you guys see okay?
You can see.
Okay. So maybe once around in the middle. And this one. So you can do the egg wrap two ways. One is just the body and the other comes up and around the head too. He's definitely like naturally kind of turning this way, which is cute. I like his little hands on his side. So this is where I kind of let the baby lead a little bit with how the wrap is going to go. So let's see how this would look. We're going to do a full egg and then we can take it down. And I'll be able to bring his legs out a little more once he's in the actual pose too. But for now, I just want this nice and tight. Now he naturally brought his head way to the side like that, so I'm just going with it for the pose. That's usually they have a certain way that they were laying in mom's tummy, and they favor that when they're so young.
Do you find that your clients are liking your all-inclusive model better than the in-person sales with ordering products? Is that more the way the industry is going?
I mean, I think a lot of my clients did already have a lot of wall art and a lot of frames that they want to just like change the picture out of. I think some people do miss, we did a lot of custom stuff like our holiday cards, and I know people miss the extra level of, we don't have a graphic designer anymore, and I think they loved like the work that she did. So there's definitely still a market for products. It's just weighing whether or not it fits what works with your business. I have friends who are like incredible with wall displays and interior design, and it's like right up their alley, and like they should do that because that's their gift and it's amazing. For my particular model now, it is a little higher volume than we used to be. We don't have a graphic designer anymore. I'm doing lots of different stuff. I'm teaching and speaking and like making YouTube channels and things. So it just doesn't, there's like not enough hours in the day, and you kind of have to decide what you're most passionate about. And if you are passionate about creating those products and cards and keepsakes, then you should definitely have that as a part of your business. Oh my goodness, you are so cute. All right, so we're gonna get the bum in, down a little bit lower than the rest of the body. And then I'll work on really fixing this wrap. Getting it into the fur tight. I want the fur to make sure that it's all around.
Do you hand edit each photo? Do you batch edit it all? How long does it take you to edit a full session?
I cull, do all the light raw adjustments in Adobe Camera Raw, then I send it to a retoucher to retouch it. And I do like any color or creative edits, but I don't do any of the retouching anymore. I send it out, and it still takes me a while. Like it probably takes me an hour to cull it and do all the light adjustments. I'm natural light, so the light is always changing. So the color balance changes throughout the session, and the light changes throughout the session, and so there are a lot of raw adjustments that you need to do to make everything even. But then I don't do any like the skin retouching or anything like that. What a cutie patootie. All right. So you still see a little of this Band-Aid. We're just going to have to take that out in Photoshop. I'm trying to cover it.
If someone purchases a session as a gift, do you provide something such as a gift certificate, digital or physical, that can be given to the recipient?
We have digital gift certificates now. I used to have like pretty fancy printed ones. I have just gone all digital. Everything's a lot more automated. Oh my gosh, look how cute. All right, let's see. I'm gonna take a test shot before I get the binky out. All right. Just go like one little pinky up, all right, and my hand is back over. So I'm gonna go straight above. Again, I have my strap around my neck.
How long do you think it took you to get comfortable handling babies when you first got started?
You know, I did have kids before I started. I had my first daughter before I started. I've always been a baby person. I was always like a nanny. I've always taken care of babies. So like, I think I was pretty comfortable around babies to begin with. But I wasn't as confident in like my workflow and swaddling and all the other stuff until like a few years in of really practicing and feeling like I knew what I was doing. But there also wasn't like education back then either. So we're talking like, I don't know now, 12 or 13 maybe years ago? What year is it?
And Michaela wants to know if with this scene that you're shooting, if you're shooting it for specifically a digital backdrop.
I am going to put this into a digital backdrop, yep. So that's why I have this round shape right here, because I'm not going to use this blanket. I am just putting this right into a digital background. And then I do close-ups and stuff that don't go in the digital background. And I'll do the toe, his little toes this way. And I'll show you guys these when it's all done too. After Christmas, next week, I'll show you all of them.
Before you move them, can I get a little close-up of them?
Yes, I am going to keep them in here. I just wanted to.
Is this the beanbag that you use on location?
This is not a beanbag. This is just like a ring. It's like a posing ring.
And a repeat question, what lenses do you use for your newborn session?
35 millimeter, and a 105 macro. Get close.
I'll go up really close. So this is what the cloud sets look like. They're a mix of really soft curls and more defined curls, and they can come in 8 different colors.
They're really great for like, you can make them into any shape. So it's great. I know I'm going to put this into a circular digital backdrop, so I made it a circle. But you could stuff it into a bowl or a basket or whatever. I'm actually going to turn him now. I'm going to turn this whole thing because I want to shoot from the shadows for some.
Where was your posing ring from?
It was Baby, hold on, Studio Baby. It says Studio Baby posing props. All this stuff I've had for like a decade, so they may or may not still be around. All right. So we're just gonna go like this because I want to shoot from the shadows for some, and I like this angle better. Let's do this. Hi. Are you gonna smile? Feel like a smile's coming.
He looks like it's coming.
Notice I always have my strap around my neck when I'm right up above baby. And then we're going to try a hat right here. So we have this cutie little teddy bear. I'm obsessed with teddy bear hats. Obsessed. I would wear one.
It would look great on you.
Yeah. It's a new trend.
Will you put up
Middle-aged women in teddy bear hats.
Will you put up links to all the products that you're using today?
Yes, I will do that. Except for the ones that I don't know where they're from.
Except for the ones that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. This is actually kind of a big hat. I think this is the trim of hat. It's okay. Look at the mouse. It's like a little Christmas mouse. Oh my gosh, I can already see what my Instagram post is going to be.
Do you ever use an assistant for newborn sessions?
Yes, I do. And if I don't, I hate myself for that decision. Remember, his legs out a little more.
Nikon or Canon?
Nikon, but honestly, I shot on Canon too, so I'm not really a really serious photographer. I'm not like intense.
You're
about my
so
gear.
much like me. It's so funny.
Like whatever, hand me whatever, I'll work with it. Oh my gosh. Stop. You know when you're doing the work and you're like, my ovaries hurt, this is so cute. That's when you know it's going to be a good picture.
How many different packages do you offer with your all-inclusive?
I don't. It's just, that's it. It's just all inclusive. You either sign up for the whole thing or not. And it's just all the digitals. And they pay a deposit. They don't actually buy all the digitals until the gallery's ready.
Can you repeat which Nikon you use?
The D5.
Let me know if I'm in your way with either of these.
No, I think that's good. Sweep the hat up a little. I love the way his little hands are. And his feet. So see how you can have fun with like a little bit of posing even while in the swaddle, which I think is the best part. So going straight above. This is adorable. And I'll get his little toesies. See that? I can get in pretty tight. Like these are not macro shots, but they're pretty close up. Oh my gosh. And I've been at 5.6 this whole entire time. Which won't matter, because they're all going into digital backgrounds anyways. But I can bring it down for a couple. Oh my gosh, and his little hands right here too. Take a smile. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to take one without a hat here in this pose too, because the pose is a little different. Don't forget to comment on these posts, whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you say hello in the comments, because we are going to be drawing a winner for a free Swaddle Pro, which has been under these wraps. That's what I've been using this whole time. It's amazing. And also a Heidi Hope digital backdrop from HeidiHopeBackdrops.com. And if you want to purchase the Swaddle Pro, I'll share links for that. And all of these props, too, are going to be available. I'm obsessed with this thing for digital backdrops. This is going to be like a game changer for me. The cloud? You call it cloud, Philip?
Everyone is saying thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yay.
Loved it. Beautiful.
We should do this more, shouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
We should do it more. I love this little leg hanging out right now. You don't want it to be over, do you?
A couple people are asking what the spray bottle is for.
Spray bottle.
Behind you. Is it sanitizer?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hand sanitizer and a spray bottle.
Yes, and I spray everything. It's like an alcohol-based sanitizer. It smells like a bar in here when you're done, but I spray this on everything. You know, when there is a Lysol shortage, you have to get creative.
So if a client requests a prop that you don't have, do you typically go out and buy it for them, or?
Sometimes, or I find a digital backdrop that has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really don't get like very specific requests like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The last one that I got was doing the princess carriage, and I used to have a princess carriage, but I don't anymore. So I just found a digital backdrop with a princess carriage and was like, here we go. You know, I like to keep a lot of this stuff really simple, and then I get more variety with my digital backgrounds at this point. There we go. Let me get one more in this other wrap too. See what he's doing under here. You can tell I don't want him to go home.